told you that you couldn't be great?
Oh, well, I mean, it would probably been majority of people around me. I think it's kind of hard to say just one person or one specific instance. Growing up in Kansas, it's like
Kansas City,
Kansas
Kansas.
City, Kansas, correct.
KCK.
But like growing up there in the middle of the Midwest, it was kind of inevitable. And it was never a direct thing of being like, oh, you can't be great or something like that, but you could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You could feel the doubt. Or there would be small conversations that would get back to me or something like that. And then it's like, you don't believe that I'm capable. But also, if you ask anybody that knew me as a kid, they tell you they wouldn't be surprised at who I am today, because I never cared what anybody said or what anybody thought, and that's why I say, like, the answer, like, you're like, well, who told you that? I think you can ask any Black queer individual and they'll tell you just because of the queerness, you're always told what you can't do.
Were you out as a child, like to your family?
Well, not necessarily out, but it wasn't no secret. Kalen always been Kalen. I've always been this way. It wasn't until I was 16 that I came out like to my mother for the first time. And then once I was on Ellen, then I came out publicly to just say it without it, just because I don't believe that gay people need to come out. But I also felt like me coming out and me telling my story would help other people be able to feel like they could do theirs too, because I think oftentimes when it comes to the queer experience, especially for Black people, we only talk about our pain and our trauma and our struggle and how hard it is, but it's or how we died, or how we didn't make it, or how somebody got AIDS and didn't see the other side of the rainbow. And that's just not my story. I made it to the other side of the rainbow. And so I like to lean a little bit more into that, in the resiliency of that it is possible, even when everybody turns their back on you or says that you can't do it, or if you got kicked out of your house and nobody was there for you, that it is still possible.
Do you feel supported by your family in your queerness?
Some, but but that gets a little bit more complicated. I think there is a lot of just family issues and layers that the support goes a little bit, not so much about my queerness. I just think the family as a whole isn't very connected. Everybody kind of lives in their own little bubbles, but there is no active support. Like, I can be honest, the only person that came to see me on Broadway was my mother from my family. But that was also when I was growing up. I did shows all the time. I was in community theater, and majority of the time, my mother was the only one in the audience. And I think that's also because I think sometimes people can be very selfish. And I think they look at things and they're like, well, I don't like musicals, or I don't like plays, or I don't like theater. And so then they're like, well, I'm not going to go. But that's not what it's about.
Right.
It's about showing up for a child and supporting them and showing up for them and letting them believe that you see worth in the talent that they have or their dreams and ambitions. But when that's not there, then you just kind of exist in your own little ether.
Yeah, and kind of, I think that is a big part of, if you have a family that isn't supported, in building your own family and creating a supportive environment and a safe environment as an adult. Do you feel like you've been able to cultivate that?
I think I didn't understand how to do that until now. I think from the moment, you got to realize, like, when I was on Ellen, that was in its prime. And we live in LA. So, like, I was at the top of the food chain, and it felt like everybody around me just needed something from me, just wanted something from me. I've had people do things to hurt me because they didn't like that I didn't get a pitch to Ellen, or that I didn't get them on the show. Like, and so when you are in this space to now, everybody, you got something that you could offer somebody, you can make somebody's dreams come true, and everybody feels like they're entitled to you. That's tough. But what I had to start looking for was, one, people that I actually had things in common with, and not just being friends with people because of proximity. But also I had to find friends that had just as much to lose as me. And I also had to find people that had just as much ambition as I did. So they understood, because one thing that I realized about me is that I'm not just an artist and I'm not just talent, I'm a visionary. I see the full picture. I see the future before it has happened. And everything that I do is laying the foundation in order to get me there. But everybody don't look like that, especially out here. I tell people, LA is a city of creatives. New York is a city of artists. Now, I done fell out with a lot of friendships in LA. I've never fallen out with anybody from New York because we understand each other. We speak the same language.
Yeah.
We do this, like, the reason why I do this is because I trained to do it. I have 2 degrees, theater and film. I have a degree in master's. You asked about my career. I think that's been the biggest thing that I have struggled in my career, is feeling like people wanted me to be stupid. Like people wanted me to be the joke. Or when people wanted me to be the court jester.
Just
in my presentation.
In your presentation,
in the persona
Mm-hmm.
of who they saw Kalen to be. Is like, if I was never like on and making people laugh for the life of the party, then something may be wrong with me. But at the end of the day, I am a showman. It is a performance. I know how to do, but that comes from trauma. That's because growing up, I knew if I could entertain people, they would leave me alone. I know how to disarm you. I know how to make you feel comfortable. But that doesn't mean I still don't know that if something changes, you're going to turn your back on me. Like, I've had many discussions recently with Durand about that. I said, also realize that you're attaching yourself to a performance of you as well.
Yeah.
Because if you look at any Black queer person that has made it in this industry, we've often had to be caricatures of ourselves.
Yeah, and as a young person, and I think people forget how big Ellen was.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now because she has so gone into,
Correct.
I don't want to say hiding, but
the world is different.
She's stepped back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the show.
Absolutely.
And so to bring something that people want, to be rewarded for it, both financially, with fame, with access, with a platform, and all of that happening at once, you don't have to, but like, how do you not commit to that persona?